Okay, this is documents. On this screen there's a lot of functionality that I'm going to skip over for now while I drill right into a document. This is the core reviewer interface in Relativity. As you can see, I can quickly jump back in the upper left corner here to my documents list by simply clicking on the link in the top left corner. At the top right corner I have a lot of options for configuring my display, so I can show the docs list above the document. Additionally, I have the ability to undock this record for multi-monitor review, so I can flip my coding data to the left and my document to the right. In the upper left corner here, I have an indication of which record I'm viewing. In this case, it's AS0001. Notice that my icon gives a visual indication of the kind of record being displayed below in my native file view. Here we have an envelope, so I know that it's an email. You'll notice that my cursor changes from an arrow to a hand when I hover over the icon, telling me that I have the ability to download a copy of this file locally, but only if I've been granted the rights. In fact, depending on the security requirements of the case or user, we can really lock down the system. You can prevent users from downloading a file, printing a document locally, copying text from the reviewer, or even running a print screen. So if you have a security-sensitive client that doesn't want any information to escape the contractor's reviews workstation, we can provide that level of security as well. Before I keep going, does anybody have any questions about this? Okay, in the upper right-hand corner, I have a collaboration tool. The tool enables me to hyperlink this record to another member of the review team. So if I were to click on this envelope icon, it would fire up Outlook on my local machine with the URL and the body of and the control number in the subject line. When another member of the review team clicks on that hyperlink, they would be able to authenticate. It would be able to authenticate with Relativity, and assuming they had all the rights to Relativity itself and the case documents, that they would be bounced right into the core reviewer interface and the document in question. If they didn't have all the necessary permissions, that link wouldn't do them any good at all. The series of radio buttons above the document stores the different versions of the document in Relativity. Right now we're looking at this record in our native file view. I'll come back to that in a minute. I can also look at this document in its original native application, such as a TIFF image of the document, whether we're doing some TIFFing on the fly inside of Relativity, if it's a paper-based collection that has been scanned and coded ahead of time, or if it's a smaller electronic collection that made sense to go to TIFF before reviewing. Further, I can review the extracted text or OCR associated with the record. Last, every time this document is produced, it stores a produced copy alongside the original for quick, easy reference. Does anybody have any questions about this before I keep going? I'll come back a little later and talk more about this feature as the demo goes on. For now, let's go back to our native file view. kCura licensed a technology from Oracle Stellent called Outside In. This is the same technology that you may be familiar with from a program called QuickView Plus. It allows us to get a high-fidelity static rendering of the file on the fly without the need to convert it to TIFF or PDF or HTML behind the scenes. So we can give the user the speed and control that they're used to in a TIFF-based review without the additional time or cost normally associated with conversion. Because we have the license of technology and we've got our hooks into it, Relativity lets users interact with a native file in richer ways than that they would normally be able to in a system that converts to low-resolution TIFF or HTML behind the scenes. For example, we can go in and copy text text right out of the reviewer and paste it and submit it to search engines. You can use Relativity Analytics. Which uses a set of concept search, categorizations, and clustering features right within the application. Also, you'll note here that the term Relativity and Documents are already highlighted for us. This is a concept referred to as persistent highlighting. What this allows me to do is at any point in the review process feed Relativity a list of terms. Maybe it's a list of potentially privileged words or key players in the case. and have them keyed out to reviewers regardless of whether or not this is actually user-generated search criteria. These can also be color-coded for instant contextual recognition, maybe magenta here for privileged words and green designated as a key player. Here to the left of the viewer is our persistent highlight tree. The persistent highlight tree allows users to control which hits they want to see and on terms or set levels to provide instant contextual recognition as to whether the hits are contained within the record or the frequency of those records. These are completely searchable from user to user and from group to group. Now I'm going to shuffle through some common files so you can get a feel for how they're going to render in our native file reviewer. Here we have an Excel spreadsheet. You'll notice that I still maintain some control over the file. I can resize my columns, get persistent highlighting. I can use the blue arrows to navigate from hit to hit. So if I were to do a keyword search and a return to hit on row 12,000 in the Excel file, I can use these blue arrows to jump right to that hit and have it keyed out for me to have it instead of having to wade through that Excel nightmare. Next, we're going to go ahead and jump to a PowerPoint presentation. You can see that I still have my persistent highlights, and I can use the blue arrow keys to jump from hit to hit. Within it will take me to the various slides in which those hits occur. Next, I'm going to jump to a Word document in Korean. Relativity is fully Unicode compliant, so you can download, search, and display foreign language, double byte language, and CKL characters. You can get persistent highlighting, tagging, and coding in CJL characters, and you can copy foreign words right out of the reviewer and paste them, submit to search engines, and TIFF them. All the same functions you get out of the English language documents is available for foreign language documents in Relativity. One of the pain points in native file review is that sometimes these files contain embedded context. Because the native file view only shows you the finalized version of the document, it's not always clear to the reviewer that embedded text exists. In Relativity, we can actually configure the system to throw in an alert to our reviewer to let them know that this type of data persists. So here we have an alert that says this document contains track changes and comments. Please review the image for the record and see the hidden context. I'm going to go ahead and click OK and flip over to the next image. As you can see here, we are already able to go ahead and flip to the next one here. As you can see here, we're already able to TIFF the document on the fly with track changes and comments included, and I can make coding decisions on it from there. Do you have any other questions about this at this time?